Hello, hello, hello. Okay, we managed to work it out. Top tip, if tech ever fails you, shut it all down, reboot the whole system, and you should be good to go. So if you saw my live just briefly before, I was letting you know that the reason I'm a little bit late for Top Tip Tuesday this week is because for some reason Ecamm decided we couldn't stream into here. But I'm here now, and this week I want to share with you some stuff that's been coming up in our coaching calls in the last couple of weeks. It's also one of my favourite things to do, so it's a good excuse to get out the iPad and have a draw. It is, of course, model making. So I actually love, as a creative type, I love organising your ideas, my ideas, anyone's ideas, into visual models that you can build into your business and create your own intellectual property around. Now, if you are watching live, please feel free to ask any questions as we go along. Type them in the chat. Let me know you're here. Say hi. Confirm that you can hear me. That's always a good thing. And if you've got a model that you want to make, or you've got an idea that you want to turn into a model, then let me know, because I'd love you to jump on a coaching call with me and let's do it. We've made some great models with our students in the Lifestyle Business Builder over the last few years, and they're fantastic. Hello. Oh, yes. Catherine has made one of the best models we've ever seen, actually. I think, Catherine, you came to, was it boot camp or goals club one year, and you made the most epic model with so much alliteration that it was just fantastic. She says modes. Yes, we know you really mean models. So thanks for tuning in live, Catherine. Let's talk about, firstly, for those of you that have our program, 7 Steps to 6 Figures, in the third week, the third module, which is all about structure, I go deep into this and I talk about how to build your own models, but I thought I'd do a quick lesson on it here because it's a fun thing to do. So the first thing we want to think about is the shape that our content would lend itself to. And I thought I would just share with you some basic types of models that you can use. So you can have the triangle, which is very good for hierarchical type models. So you might be familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's the 7 neurological levels by Robert Dilts. I talk about, in fact, I'm going to draw out one of my models because it's relevant for all coaches and consultants, the hierarchy of value for coaches and consultants. So as you are building your business, we have usually the lower value things at the base of your model. And often the hierarchy model is set around where we go, okay, the lower order is where the majority of our time or the majority of people get stuck. And the higher we go up, the more premium airtime you get. And it's a little bit like 80-20 as well. So if we look at the value of the hierarchy of value, we have at the bottom of the hierarchy the generalist. And we all know that being a generalist is pretty low value. It's the first entry point in the health system. Well, if you go the conventional route, which I never do, but let's say you did, you go to the GP. The generalist or the GP says, I can't help you, you've got a specific issue, you need to go and see this specialist. And the specialist might specialise in a particular area, like ear, nose and throat specialist or a heart specialist or whatever it might be. Now, you can become a specialist in any industry. And so you might say, I'm a coach. Well, I'm not just any coach. I'm a specialist in life coaching, or I'm a specialist in business coaching, or I'm a specialist in relationship coaching, health coaching. Any type of coaching makes you a specialist. Beyond that, you can become a certified specialist. And this is where a lot of people think is the real money maker. But I don't. I go tread with caution. I love training and I love certifications. I don't have a problem with that. But I think that it's important to know that it's not the most valuable place in the hierarchy. Definitely more valuable than being a generalist though. But you can become the expert authority. The difference between the certified specialist and the expert authority is the certified specialist has a piece of paper that sits on their wall and says, hey, I'm certified to teach this stuff. The expert authority has results. Says, I might not have a piece of paper, but I can tell you what, I got some bloody good runs on the board. So I like those folks. And then beyond that, you can have the celebrity. And the celebrity is where you go, you know what, I'm famous for this. No one really cares about my results or my pieces of paper. I just get paid the big bucks to come in and talk on stages about it. And so we live in an era where celebrity success, social influences and stuff is all pretty cool. So one type of model, the triangular model, is your hierarchy model, and you can organize your ideas in that. So that's one example. Another type of model is a matrix type model, and the matrix looks at continuums. So we'll have a vertical and a horizontal continuum. One of my favourite models, I often teach this in leadership training programs, is called the social styles grid. It comes from a wonderful book called People Styles at Work. And what it does is it talks to us about human behaviour. And it says that really human behaviour can be drilled down into two continuums. We've got the horizontal continuum, which is our levels of assertiveness. So if you think about your content that you want to organise, if you want to create a matrix, you would think about what are your two continuums that you can organise your ideas into. So let me map it out for you with the matrix in the social styles grid. So we can be less assertive, or we can be more assertive. And you think about any type of categories you want to organise your clients into. You could think about, well, what are the two areas that I help them move along? So one of the areas around human behaviour is assertiveness. The other area is around responsiveness. So you can be less responsive, or you could be more responsive. And this is not my model, I need to say. This is based on deep research into human behaviour by Bolton and Bolton and many others actually. So it's a human behaviour model, certainly not my model, but I want you to understand the construct of the model. So the assertiveness continuum measures the degree that one will put in effort to influence the outcomes or opinions of others. So when I'm highly assertive, I'm more likely to speak up, to lean forward, to try and influence or coerce people to do what I want to do. You're more likely to tell rather than ask. Less assertive people, the opposite. They're less likely to speak up, lean forward, they'll lean back and they'll ask rather than tell. No right or wrong. It's just a difference, a preference, a comfort zone, for want of a better word. So assertiveness measures the degree that we will influence the opinions and behaviours of others. Responsiveness is the degree that we outwardly demonstrate our thoughts, feelings and emotions. So this is a slightly different bonus piece of content. But let's say you are less assertive and less responsive. You are not anal, analytical. So this is where the analyticals live. If you're familiar with DISC, this is the C, compliant or controlling. Analyticals are like the bureaucrats, the perfectionists. They like data and detail, less responsive, less assertive. If you are less responsive but more assertive, you are a driver. And so this is where the action-orientated, shut up, don't talk to me about what you're going to do, just do it, people live. So in the DISC model, this is where the Ds live, the dominant styles. If you are more assertive and more responsive, more of everything, this is your expressives. And the expressive in the DISC model is called influencing. And basically the expressives are your big picture thinkers, the dreamers. They like to do the doing as well, but they're very flamboyant in how they do it. They're more relationship-based rather than task-focused like the drivers. And then the S, which is the steady or stable in DISC, in the social styles grid, it's called your amiable style. And so if you want to create a model like this, it can be a really fun thing, and I've done them. I did one with Leanne, actually, and I've done one of my own. I've done a couple of my own, actually, in different programs that I've created. But I thought I'd share with you one that is, you know, fairly well known by everyone. And then you can even color code them. So you can go, okay, if you've seen the DISC, you would know that the driver is usually red, the expressive is usually yellow. I'm pretty sure the amiable is green and the analytical is blue. I could have those two around the wrong way. Blue and green could be the other way around. And so you can create your own matrix. That's called a matrix. That's called a hierarchy, the triangle. The other thing you could do is you could create a circumplex. And we have in our freedom test the freedom circumplex, where we have 12 different areas. In our life audit, we have the life audit, which is a circumplex. And in each of those pillars, you can get a score. And so the score could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can fill in the different areas, so you create questions that get people to answer how they're tracking in each of those areas. And so then let's say they might fill it out and they'll go, okay, I got a 2 here. Oh, I get a 5 up there. Oh gosh, I've only got a 1 here. I get a 3 here and a 3 here. Get a 4 here. 2 down here. And let's just say that we create a bit of a picture or a snapshot of results from any survey. Now, when it comes to the circumplex, and in fact a circumplex type model, the human synergistic circumplex is a very interesting one that I use with clients in the corporate world. It actually has clusters to it. So you can have your circumplex, and if any of you are familiar with the human synergistic circumplex, you'll know that there's a blue cluster, which is your constructive styles. And so the constructive styles are the styles that we're aiming to achieve. Be affiliative, humanistic encouraging, self-actualized, and achievement orientated. I'm not going to worry about drawing them in. But they're all blue styles, and then you still have those scores, and in the circumplex they're actually much more complex scores than that. It goes all the way up to 40, I think. And so you can colour in where your scores are. There's also, in the human synergistics circumplex, a cluster of green styles, and the green represents passive defensive. And so I love the circumplex as a model that's really, really cleverly designed, because behind the circumplex is a dotted line where we look at, and this is what I love about models, is you go, wow, you can really organize your content in a very wise and profound way. You can look at those dotted lines and go, okay, below the line in this model is the focus on security needs. And so this is, again, a psychological model, or all about human behaviors. When I become focused on security needs, I become defensive. I can be passive in the way I defend myself, or I can be aggressive in the way I defend myself. And so the aggressive, again, they use color coding. There's 4 styles there, and they are all red. So just out of interest, the passive styles are approval, conventional, dependent, and avoidant. The aggressive styles are oppositional, power, competitiveness, and perfectionism. So anyway, I'm going mildly off track, but that's another one. So we could have the circle that is like a circumplex. You can keep it fairly simple, or you can create clusters within your circumplex, and then you can structure it so that depending on where things sit in your model, like below the line is focused on security, above the line is focused on satisfaction. This model, very smart model, I think Timothy Leary is behind this actually. We have the people versus task orientation. So over this side, all the styles on that side are task orientated, and all the styles on this side are people orientated. So there's layers and layers to the model. If anyone's interested in learning more about the human synergistic circumplex and how that works, by all means let me know. We can unpack it, and then we could go, right, what would your version of that model be? Another really nice, simple one is the expansion or the growth model. Now, I've always done it this way, but I shared in the Lifestyle Business Builder with Sue Giacobbe, actually, a really beautiful version of this where it was flipped on its side. And so let's say we might say, all right, in order to move forward, this is something I might do in our business, is the first thing we need to focus on is we need to sort your life out. Then you need to step up and become a leader. Then you need to learn how to launch your business, and finally create ultimate freedom, for example. And so it might be a bit of a journey that way. I saw this drawn this way, which was very cool though, and it was looking at the comfort zones. And so here we have the comfort zone, then we have the learning zone, we have the growth. Well, no, I think it's just the learning. There was 4 in it, but I can't remember. But the one I've always done is comfort, learning, and then magic zone. There's a really cool video on this you can watch on YouTube. But the one that I had, I'm pretty sure there was 4 that I shared with Sue. If you're going in the Lifestyle Business Builder, you can search for it. Comfort zone, learning zone, magic zone, and let's say there was some other X factor zone. You'd come up with your own levels. And you don't have to have 4, you could just have 3. But there's kind of an arrow that goes through, and then you might have a few dot points that describe what life is like in each of those zones. So that's what I would call the kind of expansion model, where you start from one area and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and things expand out. So you could organize your ideas like that. What else have we got? The Venn diagram. Now, if you're familiar with Ikigai, they have 4 circles, and I can't remember exactly what they are, but it's really to do with, you know, what do you love to do, what does the world need, what can you make money from, etc. But let's simplify things. You can Google Ikigai if you want a really beautiful example of a Venn diagram and how the layers of that work, because this is what I love about models, is you can actually build in really cool layers. By the way, if you are interested in the topic of models, follow a guy called Simon Bowen. Simon, B-O-W-E-N. He is the models master. He has a YouTube channel and you can watch him teaching his different models. I've loved models and made models way before I met Simon, but I met Simon when I was doing black belt with Taki Moore, and I just thought he was awesome, and he's really a true master. Of all the people I've watched teach models, he's bloody good, and he has his own version of a Venn diagram, which is called the Genius Model, but I'm just going to talk about it from the simple layers of the 3. So when you create your own model using a basic Venn diagram, the layers to this are, what is the thing people want in the middle? That's your sweet spot. So for us, the people we work with, they want to create a life of freedom, and I like to make the sweet spot pink. And then we think about, right, well, what are the 3 big things you need to do to be able to get to a life of freedom? And this is our model. This is how our content comes together. Well, the first one is you need to love your life. And so we help people do that by creating a life plan using the 7 elements of life. And so we have our 7 elements that come off of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is the brain, the body, being, love, time, money, passion, etc. And so that's the first pillar, really. Once we get our life in order, we get our life back, the next part of our model is to lead your movement. And to help people do that, we have, because we're the 7 effect, of course, the 7 elements of leadership, which is vision, authenticity, confidence, delivery, results, growth, etc. I can't remember all 7 of them off the top of my head. Now, what I love about this is you also get your overlaps. And so when you love your life and you lead a movement that matters, you unlock your potential. And so now all of a sudden, I'm actually living to my full potential, because a lot of the time we don't, right? So this is about saying, right, love your life, lead your movement, let's unlock your full potential. Let's have you engage with a sense of purpose, do what you are here to do. The next thing we help people do is, of course, launch your biz, the business. This is about turning what you already know how to do, what you already love to do, into a 6-figure coaching or consulting business. So we love your life, we lead your movement, and we launch your business. And so again, we have overlaps in this part of the model, and you'll think about what yours is. Jump on a call with me if you want to unpack this together, because I love doing this stuff. So when you love your life and you've launched a business that's related to the stuff you love to do, you, of course, are pursuing your purpose. You actually now have a life on purpose. And of course, when your business is linked to a movement that matters, you can create profits. So potential, profits, and purpose are all the steps to moving towards freedom. How do we get there? We create a life plan. We create a leadership plan, which is really your positioning in the marketplace as the go-to expert #1 coach. And then we create a business launch plan. And of course, we have the 7 elements of lifestyle business that go off of that as well. So whilst that looks like a little bit like a hairy beast, it's just another model, and we will eventually get this designed up to look pretty by a designer. So those are just some examples of different models. We've got the hierarchy, we've got the matrix, we've got the circumplex, the more advanced circumplex with layers of depth to it. We've got the expansion model on its side as well, and then we've got the Venn diagram. If you've got any others that you've seen, by all means share them, even take a snapshot and put them in the comments below. We'd love to see them. But I thought that'd be a really fun and easy Top Tip Tuesday for today, to get you thinking about how could we organize your ideas, your content into visual models that make it easy for you to teach your message. The reason I love doing this is because when you are with clients and you can draw things out, they'll come on a journey much faster and easier. A really simple model to do is to go, okay, let's say we, which we do, work in 3 different areas: life, leadership, and lifestyle biz. I could work with clients in a coaching call, and I could have these 3 areas mapped out, and I could say, okay, where are you currently? Are you above the line in your life? Green, everything's going well. and what puts you there? We'll get rid of that. Or are you in an amber place? And I would have a conversation about what qualifies green, amber, or below the line. Amber is sort of sitting on the line, or below the line, which is red. Things are not going well. So sometimes just having your 3 different areas and some traffic lights to help people work out, you know, am I red, green, or amber, meaning doing great, need to slow down and look, have a check-in, or shit, stop what you're doing and really assess things. It can be a very powerful way to have a conversation with people and just get them to assess where they feel stuck. That's definitely something that we're building into our business development coaching calls for a conversion tool. So we can have that call and say, right, let's chat about your life. And we would have all these questions that go with it. We do have. And we get the client or the potential client to identify what colour they are, green, amber, or red. Then we talk about their leadership and we'll get them to identify. And they might say, well, for that one, I'm amber. And for that one, I'm red. And we go, okay, let's talk about what it takes to get you up to the green and how we can help you do that. So a very simple traffic light system can be really great as well. All right, that's it for this week's Top Tip Tuesday. If you are in the Business Building Mastermind, jump on a coaching call Thursday and let's map out your models. Have a great day. Bye.